What's up, InStyle? This is Anson Mount, and you're watching this guy. My birthday is February 25th, 1973. I'm 50 years old as of this year. Well, I was born in Arlington Heights Hospital in just outside of Chicago, but I grew up in Tennessee. My go-to coffee order, iced decaf coffee with oat milk. Oh, I've been a Bob Dylan fan for my entire life. I've seen him live 3 times, including I got to stand on the stage behind the soundboard one time at the old Tramps Club here in New York. My favorite book, The Sound and the Fury by William Faulkner. They say that no one has written the great American novel, but I think he wrote the great Southern novel. Onion. No. That sounded a little critical, but no. Oh man, I wish I was a better listener. I'm trying. I never remember my dreams. Oh, I got an answer for the dream one. When I was a struggling actor in New York and living in a literally like 150 square foot studio apartment, I used to have this recurring dream that I lived in a cathedral. Recently I was explaining this to a friend of mine, and he pointed up at my ceiling, and I realized I have cathedral ceilings in the house that I bought. I can follow a recipe. It's not my favorite thing to do, but yeah, I can whip up something, not like bike. Pottery is something that always looked interesting to me, and then my wife and I got stuck on binging the Great Pottery Throwdown on HBO Max, now Max. I actually ended up getting her a pottery wheel because she had a little bit of experience with it, and I don't know, I gravitated toward it, and now I'm building out the studio, and I have a kiln and the whole 9 yards. When my wife and I moved to our new house, the bed that I really wanted for us cost $9,000. And I thought, I'm not gonna pay that, I can build that. And I did, but the investment I made in tools and time, well over $9,000 probably. I was very familiar with Star Trek. I started watching the original series in syndication when I was around 7 or 8 years old. I still remember the time slot, Sunday night, 6 o'clock, local UHF channel, channel 13, and it was my mom who got me into watching it. Yeah, there was no turning back, and it was just one of those things that was so out there. It was never even on my bucket list because it never occurred to me that I could be on Star Trek, much less the captain of the Enterprise. It's hard to beat the arena, Shatner battling the man lizard with the double axe handle to the back of the neck. That's everything, that episode. Originally, we'd been talking about the role of Lorca from season 1, and they cast Jason Isaacs, and then the next year they called me and said, we have another captain, Captain Parker, who we'd like you to audition for. And I was like, okay, sure. My wife helped me throw myself on tape, sent it to him. They called me the next day and said, okay, you got it, but it's not Captain Parker, it's Captain Pike. And I knew exactly what that meant. And it was simultaneous elation and thinking I was going to vomit, because I knew how high the bar was and what it meant to the franchise. All of that angst and all that questioning and all the worry is going to do you absolutely no good, because you are actually in charge of very, very little. So just enjoy the ride, enjoy your youth. I miss working with horses every day, because honestly, they are some of the best actors you'll ever work with. Everything that a horse feels or thinks is exhibited on their skin in some way, and horse people know exactly what I'm talking about. You can read them like a book, and it's amazing to work with. And when you get a horse that really knows you specifically and trusts you, there's nothing else like it. Producing for me was just really a natural extension of the acting and sort of formalizing conversations and work that I was already doing, and setting the bar higher for myself to lead by example. And when you have that credit next to your name, it means something. It's not just there for decorative purposes, I think. I have several vivid memories. It made it into the film. At the end of Crossroads, there's a blooper reel that plays next to the credits. And this is actually in the movie. What happened, we were climbing up these rocks, these giant boulders in Joshua Tree for this one shot, me and the three girls. And I got up there and I almost lost my balance and went over backwards. And Brittany's instinct was to reach out and grab me, but she didn't realize how close she was to me, and she accidentally smacked me in the groin. She pulled her hand back really quickly and said, "Sorry." And I, at that moment, regained my balance. And it was the most awkward moment. And I couldn't believe that they put it in the credits, but it's there. You'll see it. Fatherhood is something that you keep discovering anew every day, because she's changing every day in the most beautiful ways. You know, she learned to say, "Oh, wow." And it's like she invented the internal combustion engine. It's just amazing. She's the greatest fan in the world. I can walk into the room and my daughter just starts clapping. And I'm like, "What? Would you like me to do it again?" I can do that. Sure, anything for applause. Chris Walken. A favorite villain, Iago from Shakespeare's Othello is a tremendous villain. I think he has the most lines of anyone in Shakespeare. I can't tell that one. All right, I'll tell a clean one. There's this cop, he sees this guy driving a big like 76 Malibu, like honking car. And he's driving a little funny, so he said, pulls him over and says, "Hey, pop the trunk." Guy pops the trunk, cop goes back there. The guy's got 6 penguins in the trunk of his car. The cop goes, "What are you thinking? I want you to take these penguins to the zoo immediately." And he says, "Yes, officer." Cop lets him go. Next day, same cop sees the same guy driving the same car, and he's like, "I'm gonna see what he did about those penguins." So he pulls him over, he says, "Pop the trunk." The guy pops the trunk, goes back there. The guy still got the 6 penguins in the back of his trunk, in the back of his car, in the trunk. Only this time they're all wearing sunglasses. And the cop says, "What are you thinking? I told you to take these penguins to the zoo." And the guy said, "I did. Today we're going to the beach." InStyle, thank you for having me. I hope you learned something about me. Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, we could not be luckier to have your lens focus on us. Thanks a lot.